So I'm just re-looking at our schedule here, and you know, this was last month's October schedule of all the things we had to do, and a lot of them have been completed, but we're doing this month's schedule.
Hey, it's Aprille Sinita with Women Recharge and The Hustle.
And it's SanitaWells.com creative. I am a woman first and The Hustle.
Yes, so we are talking about right now.
How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? I can't remember.
She just threw a brain fart right there.
I did. How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want the hustle? How bad do you want whatever it is that passion or dream is that you're going after?
Yeah, how bad do you really want it? Because it's real easy and it sounds good to say, oh, I want to be successful, or I want to start my own company, or I want to leave corporate America and start my own bookstore, cafe, or whatever it is that you want to do. But the work that goes into it is
A lot.
crazy. It really is. And not just the work that goes into that, because in trying to compartmentalize, okay, today I only need to focus on this. You know, then you have your regular job or whatever. Then maybe you have a family or whatever. And maybe you're even trying to, guess what, have a life at the same time.
Right, for the single ladies.
But I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that if you really want it, you're really going to have to make a plan and say, and dedicate and commit to
sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice. I'm telling you guys, sacrifice for real. Because when I started my own process, I shut down the real estate business. Sinita and I used to have a consulting firm, Franco Property Consulting and Leasing, in 2008. And when I decided to shut that down after she left to tend to her daughter and her granddaughter, you know, I let that income go. That was a sacrifice that had to be made. It's like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice, shut it down, write this book in 6 months. Okay, for those of you who have read Confessions of Independent Woman, that was 6 months of writing. Do that, not go out, stay up all night, do this, do that, start this whole Facebook thing to make everything work. So it took a minute, you know, to come to the conclusion that I wasn't going to be able to do everything that I really wanted to do, that I had to buckle down and make the sacrifice that Sanita's talking about.
Absolutely, and it is truly a sacrifice. They always tell us, you know, whatever you want, you really have to work hard for it. And that's true, because sometimes we do not appreciate what comes easy to us. And you guys can agree with that. Something comes easy and you be like, oh, okay, that was nothing. I can get that again. Because you think it's easy. But when you know that for 6 months, I'm out in the woods, you know, when she went to go write her book at her mother-in-law's house and they live out in the country, or for 6 months I'm not really talking to my friends, I'm not taking any vacations, I'm not spending excess money.
Yeah.
When you know that you've made that sacrifice, then you feel like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This was worth it, because you buckle down and you have to do that.
Yeah. I think too, for me, another thing that I realized when just going through the process was everybody is not going to understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. You know, so just getting that out of your brain immediately, that, you know, everybody's not going to buy into that, you know, because people are like, well, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? And I just had to disassociate myself because I had a goal. So if you have a goal and you saying you really want it, then know that there is some sacrifices that's going to have to be done. Because one thing that really, you know, just to be frank, that really kind of gets on my nerves is we, just human nature, want to, you know, be jealous or envious or even hate on people who have worked their ass off to get to where they're at. And one thing I always admire, like, about the really successful people, like the Oprahs, the Donald Trump with his crazy behind, you know, the Steve Jobs of the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs, those people work their ass off. Yeah, they have people to help them, but they didn't always have people.
Right.
So before you have people, like, you know, we doing all this ourselves right now.
Right. There's no cameraman back there.
There is no cameraman, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Before you get to that point, there's a lot of things that you have to do, and you got to want it bad enough, because it's easy just to go work for somebody. It's easy just to keep your day job. It really is. It's so much easier, because working for someone else really takes the thinking out of everything that really goes into you. You're not thinking about the whole business. You're just thinking about your role in that business. And when you step out and you say, okay, no, I want to do X. No, you have to think about that thing from A to Z.
Because you are the CEO, the CFO, the secretary, the janitor. You wear all those hats. So it is not an easy process, but we can say that the rewards for me are much greater. Because like she said, clocking into a 9 to 5, you know you got to be there at 9, and you know that you're going to get off at 5. You know what you're going to do in those 8 hours. You know who has set the parameters for you. But when you're, doing it yourself, and say you're working from home, are you going to get up at 8 o'clock and work a regular 9 to 5? No, you kind of have a little leeway, but you have to be disciplined in that. You can't be too free because now I'm an entrepreneur and I can do this. No, when you're an entrepreneur, you need to set those same parameters for yourself. And if you're willing to work 9 to 5 for somebody else, then you should be willing to work 9 to 5 for yourself.
Absolutely. So we just want to encourage you, but to be real at the same time and not say, oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be great, but you're going to work harder than you ever worked.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're going to work harder than you ever worked. Please know that. But know that we're also, the Hustle Ladies are here to support you. And if you have any questions about this video or any of our others, you may also want to check out the video on that balance and also the video on having a supportive mate as well to kind of go along with the same thing. So if you have any questions, hit us up. Otherwise, we'll see you
on the flip side.
On the flip side.
Hustle on.